It's Rob!
Tony! And I'm Jeff.
We're in gaming.
And that's you.
Hello gamers and welcome back to the Inn. I'm Rob, of course, or Warshack if you want to call me that. And today we're going to be knocking out the Road to Legend ranks 15 to 14. So ideally we can go down to 13 though, because we're already on a win streak and we're no stars away from 14. So if we can win the next 3 games in a row, since already being on a win streak, we can actually knock out 2 Road to Legend videos in one. So ideally we'll go down to 13. If not, then this will, if we lose, and we'll get to 14 eventually, whatever, how many games that takes. But ideally we should win 3 in a row, and that'll be great. So obviously we're going to keep our early game cards against a Shaman. He's probably running aggro Shaman. So having the Living Roots is nice. It takes care of the Leper Gnomes and or some other early game stuff he plays. The Shade of Naxxramas is kind of nice. I would rather have a Darnassus Aspirant with this opening hand. We have the Innervate and Coin, so we can actually play Emperor on turn 3. So that'll be good. As long as he's not able to kill it, it should be fine. So I think we're going to summon our 2 little Grootlings here. It's pretty fair play. It's a decent opening. It's better than not having. I don't know if I'd rather have, I don't know. I'm debating what's better, like on turn 1, having the Living Roots, the Darnassus Aspirant, or the Grootlings against aggro Shaman. I guess they're all pretty good. So we could coin into the Shade of Naxxramas. It would supply us with a card on the field, but it really doesn't do anything right now. I'd rather save the coin and the Innervate again for the Emperor on turn 6, which means we're only going to be able to pretty much passive and go face this turn. Not that strong of a turn. And then that's going to give him the incentive to maybe do something next turn, but he is overloaded 1, so I think this is fine. So we'll just swing for that 3 and end our turn. And then next turn is Emperor. Hopefully he doesn't kill it. If he swings into a Living Root, our Living Roots, that's fine. It's actually going to heal him back up for 1. So we're going to Innervate Coin into Emperor. We actually have 2 Shade of Naxxramas in our hand and the double Force of Nature. So this is pretty good. There's a lot of value in our hand. Next turn we'll actually be able to play both Shades if he, because we don't really expect him to play the, what is it called, Lightning Storm? I always call it Chain Lightning, but yeah, it's called Lightning Storm. So Tunnel Trog, oh my gosh, it's gonna kill, yep. Emperor down, rip Emperor. So next turn is double Shade. Hopefully it'll be able to kill Trog, and that Healing Totem keeps healing that Totem Golem back up. As I said, he probably doesn't play in Chain Lightning because he's playing the aggro deck. If he does, it's highly unlikely. But normally I would make this play anyway. So he happy Winter Festival, which means he has some Lightning Storm shit. There you fucking go. Oh. What aggro Shaman runs that? Don't emote me sorry. You're not sorry. You're happy. You're extremely happy right now. Alright, so swiping is an option. Force of Nature is an option. Or just taunting up is an option. The 5/3 is going to take care of the taunt card because I'm sure he's got another overload in his hand. So I think we just Force of Nature and kill off the Tunnel Trog, and then it's debating whether or not we attack into the Totem Golem or the Healing Totem. But if we attack into the Totem Golem, the Healing Totem is just going to heal that Totem Golem right back up. So maybe killing the Healing Totem normally would not be that good, but in this situation there's not really a better option. It's just going to heal the Totem Golem back up, so I don't find a reason not to kill it. The next turn is probably going to be a taunt. If he doesn't really play anything, ideally with 4 mana, maybe he'll passive and end. We'll get lucky, but he has 5 cards in hand, which is a lot. So ideally, Tunnel Trog into some spells. Spirits, okay, wow. All right, well, this is a bad thing to happen. Like, really bad thing to happen. Because we can't deal with it. Force of Nature doesn't do anything. Swipe really doesn't do anything. We play Sledge Belcher, it just dies. Druid the Claw seems okay. Sledge Belcher, I don't think so. I think Druid the Claw is better. Just because if he silences it, it's still a 4/6. It just loses taunt. If he silences the Sledge Belcher, it loses taunt and it loses its ability to make another taunt. So Crackle for 6. Why not? Crackle for 4. That's pretty good. Lava Burst for 5. That's 6. That's 11. That's 14. That's 16. That's a lot of damage. That puts us at 4. I don't think we're gonna win this game. Oh man, those Lightning Storm really wrecked us. Like normally, you would never play Lightning Storm into his kind of deck. because it just bogs down your hand. If you're worrying about having to play your field clear in an aggro deck, then you're probably not in a good situation in the aggro deck. But if you just happen to draw it exactly when you need it, like this guy did, then it turns out to be really good. But in most situations, you don't run that in an aggro deck. And some can say, oh, but you just got wrecked by it. But yeah, it's like the 1 in 100 times that it works the way it's supposed to work. Yeah, it's very unlikely that you're playing against a druid that's going to double shade on turn 4 into your top deck of Lightning Storm. Like, come on. And he's actually running 2 Lightning Storms. There's no point. Wow. We just got wrecked. We just got wrecked. Well, so much to going to 13. All right, so now we actually have to win 2 more games. So we'll see how we do. Ideally, we should just win 2. Normally, I don't really have difficulty. When the season restarts, we start at like 16 or 17, and normally I can get down to like 7 or 8 in a day, depending on how much I play and who I go against. But for the most part, it's not too bad. But sometimes you just get unlucky like last game. So it looks like we're going against a rogue called Grumpy Pants. It's pretty funny. All right, so I think we keep Wild Growth, get rid of Swipe, get rid of Sonaris. I actually might tech out Sonaris later on. He seems to be just too much mana. Just too much mana. This hand's horrible. I may not play Druid often, and I may not be great at Druid, but I know when I have a horrible hand, and this is one of those times where, I mean, Wild Growth is good, and the Innervate's fine, but the Savage Roar, it's just bad. So, like, we have to draw an Ancient Allure, or maybe a Dr. Boom to make this all come together. Grove is mediocre. If we were playing against maybe a faster paced deck, he could come in handy, but we need to draw some of our bigger creatures, or some drawing potential. Sonaris, what the fuck are you doing? It's too early for you, dog. You come on turn 9. You don't come on turn 2. This is bad. Bad news bears. All right, so we can play a turn 4 on turn 4, which is nice. So if he plays like tempos out of 3/3, which he won't, because he only has 2 mana. Coining out, wow, we could actually see it. Will he summon the 3/3 agent that does 2 damage? Oh, Van Cleef. Okay, so we can just silence Van Cleef. So he actually played into this for us. Yeah, so we're just going to silence that. There's really no point not to. Shade doesn't make much sense here. We'll play that next turn and maybe passive. If we draw a 6 or a 7 drop, we maybe Innervate to bring it out, depending on which... I don't know. We would Innervate out a Lore no matter what, and we'd Innervate Dr. Boom no matter what. Sledge Belcher is a fine draw, Druid of the Claw is a fine draw. But there's a lot of good draws that we can draw into here. A 5-drop or 7-drop Dr. Boom works for me. So, killing off the Van Cleef, without a doubt, and then we're going to play Boom. I know we're going to be down a lot of card advantage against this rogue, but if he can't deal with the Boom, then it's going to be bad for him. Like, extremely bad. So, like, Big Game Hunter turns this around for him, but that's pretty much all he could do this turn is like, attack into a 1/1 Boom bot. And okay, Violet Teacher. Backstab. Yeah, what now? Still not enough. Prep. All right, that means he has a Vis. It's gonna do 4, and then he's gonna probably weapon into it. Yep. He's gonna summon a fuck ton of 1/1s. So Dr. Boom at least hit 7 to face, which puts him that much closer to combo range. Okay, so that Violet Teacher needs to die. Playing the Taunt's pretty important as well. Playing the Shade of Naxxramas is just going to die if he Fan of Knives, and he has some sort of combo out. We could Savage Roar and swing both the Boom Bots into the Violet Teacher to make sure it dies, but I think playing a pretty beefy card on the field is pretty important in this situation, just to keep some field control down. He already wasted a lot of cards to get rid of the Boom, so I think we swing into the Teacher, see how low we can bring it down. Ideally a Boom Bot. Ooh, yeah, buddy. So now we swing into it, it dies, and then we swing into one of the 1/1s. It'll kill probably another 1/1. Does too, that's fine. If we would have hit one of those for 4, I would have been a little upset just because it was a lot of damage to take out a 1/1, but that's fine. Clear out his field some. So Loatheb really doesn't affect us too much, considering if we draw into another one of our 7 drops, we wouldn't play a spell anyway. Alright, so it looks like it's going to be a Shade of Naxxramas passive kind of turn. Go face. Loatheb is going to have to swing into our Druid of the Claw next turn anyway, in which we can passive and or Living Roots the Loatheb to death, depending on the situation. Maybe even make some Grootlings if we feel like our Savage War Force of Nature combo can bring him down to lethal. Who keeps ringing my wrist? Nobody. My Apple Watch is going crazy. which I got as a gift for Christmas, by the way. A really cool Christmas gift present. Did not expect to get a... I don't wear watches, but this has actually been pretty unique, pretty cool.
This guy's toast.
Okay, so he made a good trade there with his agent. He's gonna swing for 5. He has pretty big field control and a weapon that we have no way to get rid of. Swipe is pretty nice. So I think we make these into Grootlings. Swipe into the Lotheb. Passive kill Lotheb. Agent and weapon are gonna have to kill Grootlings, and then that stalls us a good turn. I don't think we attack with our shade. There's no point. We'll just save it. If we draw Force of Nature, we win. But we know we're not going to draw Force of Nature because we've got Rob Luck. But next turn we do have Sonaris, which is sitting in our has been sitting in our hand since turn 2. So it's not even like, oh my god, he played this card. He's just top decked it. Nah, bro. This shit has been in my hand since turn 2. It deserves to be played. Fan of Knives is probably the best card he could have drew here, so he can actually attack face and deal some damage to me. And it made me even scared about him playing Oil next turn because 14 health against a rogue is not a lot of health. One Swift Oil and Deadly, oh god, Deadly Poison. Blade Fury's coming. Alright, so... Wow, Double Savage Roar. So we're going to Sonaris here. And we're going to swing face with the 4-3. Actually, did we miss lethal there? Because that would have been... He's at 4, that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And we swung for 4. So now, that's 1 off. No, but with passive, that would have been 5... Wow, we might have missed lethal because of the Double Savage Roar. Whoops. Oh well, we still won anyway. As again, I play Druid sometimes, but I haven't played it in a while, so I'm kind of rusty at it. I figured playing it at this rank really didn't matter. It was just a fun, different kind of deck to play, because we normally don't play Druid, to be honest. I really had a good time playing Druid a while ago, and then I kind of just lost interest in it, because it just got, like, so popular. Like, every other game is either against a Shaman, or a Druid, or a Secret Paladin, and it's just like, I kind of give... Like, playing against it is almost like playing it yourself. I don't know. So, I try to play a little bit of different variety of decks, but since we haven't played in a while, why not? Force of Nature too much, Emperor Tharzan too much. That's too much. Shade is just enough. Against another Druid, he doesn't really have a way to get rid of Shade. We know this. Like, even Swipe doesn't kill it, because the second it sits on the field for, like, I mean, Azure Drake Swipe, if he uses that and you just played it and it has 2 attack, no point to coin. I'm going to assume he's going to Darnassus Aspirant, because of course he's going to Darnassus. It's Wild Growth or Darnassus Aspirant. It's either Wild Growth or Aspirate when we play against other Druids. So we're just going to Wrath it down. Normally, if he didn't play anything, I'd probably coin into the Shade, because we have 2 Shades. So we would coin into Shade on turn 2, play Shade, and then play a Shade on turn 3, and then play a Shredder on turn 4, which would be really, really powerful against a Druid, and it would give him... not a lot of resources to get rid of both the Shades, which would just sit on the field and just keep accumulating that extra attack. So I think we throw down our Shade now and end our turn. The Emperor is nice. So this hand is looking pretty good. Not a lot of utility spells like Swipe, and we already used our Wraith, but there's not a lot of things to get rid of cards at which he plays. So we're gonna have to aim to make value trades with our creatures with what we're going. Another Aspirate. Wow. So his hand's actually pretty fucking wow, and a Wild Growth. So his hand is actually pretty good, pretty good. So, do we coin into the Druid of the Fang? Swing the Fang into the Darnassus Aspirate? I think so. Do we kill off the Shade? Probably not. Went through my head for a second, and then it's just like, there's no point. He's gonna, ideally we want his Shade to swing into our Tiger, but he won't do that. He'll probably Living Roots it or something crazy like that. His passive doesn't kill it. A Swipe doesn't kill it. His Druid of the Claw doesn't kill it, but it puts a wall in the way. Okay, so now we can silence the Shade. Or silence, no, we should not silence the Fang. We can deal 2 damage to the Fang, and then swing into it for 2, and then again we're at the deciding factor of whether we kill off his Shade of Naxxramas with ours, and I don't think we do. Since we already have 2 keepers in our hand, there's not going to be great targets for those keepers. I think we just hold on to the other one and use it as a silence for the Shade, because he's probably just going to swing his Shade Face. He won't even kill off the Keeper of the Grove, which makes it so it actually might be worth a little bit more later on. I don't think we kill it. I want to kill it, but I don't think we should. We have another Keeper in our hand to silence it, and I have a feeling this guy's going to go face with that. This guy looks like he's a very face kind of person. I don't think he's going to make the trade with the Keeper. I just don't see that happening. Maybe a swipe to the Keeper. Maybe another taunt so he feels protected. Another taunt, he feels protected, and he's going to go face. Even though he should make that 2/4 trade. It's a free creature. You should make the trade, but you won't because you're not that kind of guy. I don't know what kind of guy you are, man. But you're not that kind of guy. All right, so we're going to silence the Shade. This worked out pretty well. We're going to swing our Shade of Naxxramas into his Belcher, swing into his Slime with our 2/4, and then probably play this Aspirate here and get that extra mana crystal. Not that it matters too much now because we were going on to turn 7 anyway, which is like almost the whole point. So you get to turn 7 so you can Dr. Boom or Ancient Allure to refill your hand full of 2 cards. But either way, we're happy. Having a field like this against a Druid makes it very awkward for him to try to get rid of cards. Because again, Druid is not really known for being able to clear the field effectively besides like Azure Drake Swipe, which again, if you have to rely on Azure Drake Swipe as your field clear, you're probably not effectively dealing with the field. So next turn, I think we're going to have to deal with that Shredder just because we're at low health. Wow, he swiped face, which makes me think he has at least one piece of the Force of Nature Savage Roar in his hand. So playing this taunt right here is probably pretty important. Drawing into it's really important. And then do we say, I think we pop Shredder to see what comes out, and we say hello. So, hello. So it's the ship tank. We can't really deal with that. I think, yeah. So my thought process was behind there, maybe we would have used our passive to gain 1 armor so we can get out of combo range, but it's not. I would rather keep throwing down field control. Getting out of combo range is important, but we do have a taunt to hide behind. And not that, I mean, combo range I know is 14. Wow, another swipe. So our taunt's actually going to go down, which means if he does have combo, we're dead next turn. So we're pretty much just going to play Emperor and or Shredder, depending on what we draw. Another taunt. So we're going to play Shredder. Play Sludge Belcher, swing face, and then we're going to hold on to our Shade of Naxxramas. It only has 2 HP. So we're going to play Shredder. No, we're going to play Sludge Belcher. The one with taunt. What we just said yes about. I'm like staring at Sludge Belcher. I don't know why I said. I thought for some reason we had 9 mana. So we were going to play both of them, but we only have 8 mana because he killed the Darnassus Aspirant. If he wouldn't have killed the Darnassus Aspirant, we would have had 9 mana, and then we would have played Shredder that turn and probably instead of using our passive. Even though we get the 1 armor from it, the difference between 12 HP and 13 HP against a Druid it doesn't matter. Anything under 14 is death. So we're going to have to kill that Ancient Allure. He's just getting closer and closer to that combo range. So Force of Nature to kill the Lure seems like a decent play here. Then we innervate out the Shredder. And then we swing probably face with everything else. Do we swing face with the Shade? I don't think so. Not yet. We just hold on to it because it's like if we draw into Force of Nature or Savage Roar, either one of those doesn't win us the game yet. So there's really no point to expose the Shade because that's probably his biggest threat right now is that Shade. Belcher's not really a threat for him. It delays the game from him winning. Actually, never mind. He just silenced it. Wild Growth, we're going to use this to cycle a card. Let's see what we can get. Ideally, we want an Ancient of Lore so we can draw 2 more. Azure Drake to draw 1 more. That seems pretty fine for me. Innervate, not so good. All right, so we're going to kill off his Sludge Belcher, kill off the Slime, and then we're going to kill off the Keeper, and we're going to swing his face for 1. Oh, sorry about that. And then next turn, we're going to play Emperor and just make our Innervate super valuable. It's going to cost negative, super valuable. It's going to cost -1. They're going to give me mana to play it, which they would do anyway because it's Innervate. Anyway, Shade of Naxxramas down. He's going to draw a card. Like I said, he's going to kill that thing ASAP. I think it's just too good not to kill. Can we just win this to be rank 14? The rank 14 struggle, guys. For some reason, this season has been a little bit more difficult. It's probably because I'm not playing the Mech Shaman I always run. You know what? We'll probably play Mech Shaman pretty soon, whether it be the next Road to Legend or the one after that. I feel like Mech Shaman always does really well early on in the season. So we need to draw our big game hunter, if there was one in the deck. Swipe's actually pretty good. So I think we're going to swing our Owl into this and go face with the Drake and the Belcher. And then we'll YOLO swipe, and hopefully they don't kill the Azure. Hopefully the Boombot effect doesn't kill the Azure Drake. Hopefully it doesn't kill either creature, but we'll see. So don't kill Azure Drake. Okay. And we're going to use a passive here to get out of combo range. It seems like some situations using the Innervate to passive is not that great of an idea, but in this situation it is, because we're at 15 health now, and if he has Force of Nature's Savage Roar, he puts us at 1. He doesn't kill us. If we wouldn't have used Innervate there, like, there's not going to be a better time to Innervate, especially if we can get out of lethal range against another Druid, because as we know, Force of Nature's Savage Roar does do 14 damage, so it seems like that was a really, like, that was important for us to do, because if he has it, he's like, fuck, dude, how did he know? And then if he doesn't have it, he's like, man, he just wasted his Innervate. But really? Did we really waste it? I don't think so. I don't think so. Because he hasn't really used any Force of Nature Savage Roar yet. He hasn't used Savage Roar for sure, I don't think. And he hasn't used a Force of Nature. We have, but he hasn't. So there's this Force of Nature. If he Savage Roars here, he's going to be so salty. And then he could put us down to 1, and then he could have another Force of Nature, I suppose. And then we only have 9 damage on the board. So we have to draw into 2 damage. Alright, so he doesn't have it. He's going to kill off Belcher, swing into probably the Emperor. Wrath? Okay. He's going to go back to 11 health. So ideally we need a creature to continue field control. So Sonaris works, Ancient of Lore works, a Shredder, I wouldn't even mind a Shredder. Dr. Boom works, hell yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he just doesn't concede here. Unless he can big game it down, he's done. What you gonna do? Act a fool. Yeah, I don't see what you're gonna do, Druid. Because this is 9 damage, he passives, he goes to 11, we passive, it does 10, so he puts at 1 health, so he could live 1 more turn depending on what we draw. If we draw any damage whatsoever, he's dead. But he could live 1 more turn. Or he's just gonna Kansami down. Sweet. Alright, so we're going down to rank 14, and we will cut it short here. Or not really short, but we'll cut it off here. Ideally, we wish we could have made it to 13, but that Shaman just completely wrecked us with the Lightning Storm. So with that said, hopefully you've enjoyed this, no, I wouldn't say this. Hopefully you've enjoyed the road to Legend so far, even though we're not really that close to Legend. I'm going to do my best to get as close as we can. As I mentioned before, I did start school back up, so reaching Legend may not be possible, but I'll get as far as I can and keep pumping out daily videos for you guys. I'll do my best. That's all I can say I can do, because the best is the best someone can do. And with all of that said, thanks, of course, for stopping by the end, guys. I'm Warshack, and happy whatever the hell day it is.